this is Nifty Goose, and I'm a little bummed out right now because I just watched the new Ninja Turtles movie, and it was quite a bummer. That's why I got some sad blues music going on right now. And I went in, I knew it wasn't going to be good, but I thought it would be. I was hoping, let me rephrase that, I was hoping that it was going to be decent, like it was going to have good action. I just knew the story was going to be garbage, and I just want to talk about it. I want to vent a little bit about just how bad I thought it was. Just the story of it was just ridiculous. I actually made some notes, so that way I wouldn't forget, and I wanted to start out by saying that there are going to be spoilers, but it's a shitty movie. There's your spoiler. So if you don't want to know just how bad it is and you want to see it for yourself, then don't watch, because I'm not going to hold back on the story. I'm just going to talk about it. So first things first, you don't see or hear about Ninja Turtles for the first 20 minutes of the movie. I'm not exaggerating. I checked the time on my phone, and it was after 20 minutes. I'm not sure when, but it was after 20 minutes before you even saw, or they even said it was like Ninja Turtles. Nothing. You didn't hear anything like that. And for one, that was a huge bummer. It was basically, hey, April O'Neil, check it out, she's the main character. It's not called Ninja fucking Turtles. It's called April O'Neil, Megan Fox, Running Time. And I know it wasn't directed by Michael Bay, but you could just see his fingerprints just all over the place. All over the place. Like it was just so bad. And the main villain is not Shredder. I don't care what people say. It's not Shredder. It's something Sachs. I don't even remember his first name, but his last name is Sachs. That's the name of his company. That's how I remember it. And the scene where Shredder first appears is actually a pretty badass scene. He is tied up like hands behind the back, and he kicks the dude's ass. Just based on that. But then right after that, he's talking to, I believe it's his daughter. It's like his number two in command, I guess, and a leader of the foot. And he talks to her in Japanese. She responds in English. He talks in Japanese. She responds in English, and then he talks in English. And it's very, like, why don't they just either speak in Japanese or speak in English? Pick one and be consistent with it. Don't keep jumping back and forth. And it's not even consistent with how stupid it is to begin with, because he's in Japanese, English. Then keep that same thing. No, don't just jump back and forth. So I saw that, and that was no good. And as far as the appearance of the turtles, they just look ugly. Like, I don't know how to say that. They look ugly. And I know the turtles aren't exactly the prettiest things to look at, but they look gross. They look like villains. They look like Tokar. I think that was... Okay, I don't remember which one Tokar and Razor was. I believe Tokar was the turtle, but I don't remember off the top of my head. But it looks like the turtle from Ninja Turtles 2. And... God, it was just so bad. Just the whole story of it, and the main plot, or like their big plan, which isn't really revealed until way later in the movie. But the plan is, like, Sachs owns this kind of private military company, and the plan is him and Shredder are going to release a poisonous gas, and then Sachs is going to provide the antidote, and the government's going to pay him a bunch of money for it. But he's going to release this from his building with his big company logo on it, on the big container that is releasing the gas. That doesn't make sense. Who's gonna be like, oh, that's weird. Yeah, you have the antidote. No shit, because you're the one that made the fucking toxin. Like, that's their main plan. And apparently April O'Neil is a badass, because the 2 times Shredder is stopped, it's because of her. The 2 times Shredder is beaten, it's because of her. The first time, he is like killing Raph. He's crushing his shell on the ground, right? And then she jumps behind him, stabs him in the back with Raph's sai. And then he's like, oh no, you got me. And then he fucking bombs away. And then the second time is at the end, where they're hanging on a building and they swing her and she kicks Leonardo's sword into his back. And that kills him. And then he falls and dies. Why? She's not trained in anything. And her acting in that, it was not good. It was not good acting at all. But I mean, it was okay, but it wasn't good for something that was, hyped up as much as this. And one line, and the lines in that are just so bad. Like, one time she's talking with her Will Arnett, her news buddy or whatever, and she's all mad, butthurt that she's not on TV or doing the hard-hitting news that she thinks she should be. And she says, I didn't go through 4 years of college and just to be here. And it's like, oh, so you expected that right when you graduated that you were going to have your dream job and you weren't going to have to work? Who wrote? I seriously believe like a 14-year-old wrote the script of what he thinks adulthood is like. And another line, so the mutagen is in the turtles, and Sax wants to get it out of them, and so he's going to drain them all their blood. His line in that was, I want to drain them of all their blood, even if it kills them. Usually when you're drained of all your blood, you die. Your body doesn't reproduce blood that quick when it's just being drained by the bucket load. Oh god, it was so bad. I can't believe it. I had to see it. I had to, but I kind of wish I didn't. Oh, and the turtles are pretty badass. They can block bullets with their shell, and they can also deflect bullets with their weapons. It happens multiple times. Yes. Michelangelo using nunchucks can and deflect bullets, because that's what you can do, because you're a boss ninja. And let me get to Shredder. So I talked about the scene where you first see him, and he's a badass. You can tell that he knows his shit, he can fight. And so they decide to put him in a mech warrior suit, and he's Megatron, so he is. You don't see him out of that suit. Like, you see one scene with him without it, and then he's like, oh, I'm in the suit, cool, neat. And because that's what ninjas want to be, they want to be huge, strong, and slow. Because when you see a ninja in anything, that's what they are. They're big, strong, slow guys. They're not small, nimble, fast. Because when I think of, I know Bruce Lee wasn't a ninja, but if I remember correctly, he was like 6'10", about 320 pounds, right? No. Like, pick one or the other. Either make him a badass martial artist, or put him in the mech warrior suit, or don't have him at all. Either way, and they fucking got me. I thought there was going to be another fight with Super Shredder, and there wasn't. So I'm pretty butthurt about that, because I just want to see Super Shredder, but he wasn't in there. It's whatever. And about the turtles, they had to, update them. They can't be surfer dudes. I'm fine with that. But the one thing, like Donatello, they made him way too stereotypical nerdy. They made him basically Urkel, is what they did. And I don't mind making him a nerd, because he was. He was a nerd. But it's like, they went way overboard with his nerdiness. Like, it was absolutely ridiculous how nerdy they made him. And, the rest of them have their typical personalities. They didn't show much about like Raph's kind of anger issues and him wanting to be alone. They didn't show enough of that. I don't think. And going back to April about how awesome she is, she also gave the turtles their names, and she fed them pizza when they were babies, and she saved them from the fire in the lab where they were at. Where they were being tested on by Sax and her dad, April's dad. That was a bummer. And another line that I remember, so I talked about how Shredder was cracking Raphael's shell, right? And then him and Donatello are in the back, and Raph says, my shell's cracked, take me up. And then Donatello's like, no, let me be the hero, which is a cool scene. You know, I'm okay with that. That's pretty cool. Because Donatello doesn't get the credit he deserves, I think. And, but then, like 5 minutes later, Raph tells Donatello to do that, or one of them, to do the slingshot. So he slingshots down a mountain, and Raphael rams the back of his shell into this Humvee and just crushes the Humvee. So apparently the crack didn't mean shit. Apparently. So that was another dumb thing. One other scene. Okay, so I don't know exactly how much the turtles weigh. It's never clearly stated. They're bigger than the normal person, and they have a shell. So I'm assuming they're pretty good weight. But there's one scene where two of them are hanging from like a building beam, like a big steel beam that holds up buildings. They're hanging on it, and the beam bends and breaks, like melts, like they're holding on to like a piece of meat or something. It just melts. So to me, I don't know how much a beam can hold, but I would imagine a good amount. So that tells me that the turtles weigh, what, like 10,000 pounds? Maybe 5,000 pounds? Which to me seems like a little 2,000 pounds. Let's just say 1,000 pounds. And you see them riding in cars. In a van. You see them in a van, and it's not like just being held down to the ground. But no, they can pull the beam down, and later on, all four of them, so let's say that's 4,000 pounds now, on just like the top of a tower, like the Empire State Building, the tower on the top, the very, very top. They're hanging on that, and that holds them for a long time. So it's just not consistent at all. And the thing with in the first movie, you see that there is a connection between the turtles and Shredder via Splinter, because of Urukusaki, his master, Yoshi, his master, is killed by Shredder. And so you see that, and then it's very epic when that gets actually revealed at the end of the first movie. This one, they have no connection. April O'Neil does, of course, because it's the April O'Neil movie. Because Shredder killed her dad. Or not Shredder, sorry. Sax killed her dad. She doesn't even have a connection to Shredder, actually. I didn't even think about that. Sax killed her dad. And Sax knows Shredder because Shredder took him in after his parents died? Something like that? I don't know. They tried to rape it in there, and I guess they kind of succeeded. So I don't want to talk about just all shit movies. Or all shit parts of the movie. I mean, there was some things they got right. Shredder's voice, the 2 minutes that you heard it, was really good. I thought that was really good. Let's see. Seeing Splinter kick ass, that was cool. That's something I wanted to see. I mean, they couldn't do it in the other movies because he was a puppet, literally. But so that was good to see. Some of the action sequences were pretty cool, but that Transformer fight scene where it's like real quick cuts, and you don't see actual like martial arts, like them doing kicks and shit. It's just really quick, and you see a guy being hit. So I mean, I thought the fighting should have been better, but I mean, it wasn't too bad. I would have liked, instead of Sax, why not Baxter Stockman? Why not him? He was pretty cool. and you know, he was a scientist, so you could have put him in that role. But no, they didn't want to do that. I don't know. I thought it could be a lot better than what it was. I think if they gave it to well, he didn't direct it, but if Michael Bay wasn't a part of it, and I think it could have been better. And I'm not comparing it to the first one because it's a different movie. That's like comparing the first Batman to Christopher Nolan's Batmans. You can, but it's a waste of time because they're just two different movies. But if I had to give it a grade, I would give it a D-, and that's just because I love the Ninja Turtles and it was good to see them again. But I watched the original Ninja Turtles and it's still a great movie. So if you want to see a good Ninja Turtles movie, watch the first one. The second one's good too. I'm not dogging that one. Both of those are really good. But I guess, if they set out one goal they should have had, and if they had this goal, they succeeded, was to make it better than the third movie, which they succeeded. It's slightly better than the third movie. Anyways, if you liked the video, please subscribe. Thank you for watching. I will see you guys later.